On two. Ready? Ready.
What is good? What is good?
What's good? What's good?
How's it going?
It's good, man. This is the Football Frame of Mind podcast, man. Weekly show. Uh, Doing it on the road here. I'm on a train. Uh, Brandon is at his crib chilling, enjoying this beautiful Sunday, and about to get carpal tunnel in the back because this seat is stupid hard. So yeah, it's been a long day. I'm really just like ready to just crash out on this train, man, because I done had enough. Lose tonight, people. I apologize. I'm just ready to get this road trip over and lay in my bed for once. You know,
Feel that.
I hadn't laid in my childhood bed in a very long time, and I don't miss it. Let's just say that. I don't miss it. Love my granny. She was a great host, man, but I don't miss that bed at all, man. Yeah, tough, man. It was tough.
You've
It was
grown a
tough.
little bit since then too.
Yeah,
So
man. I grew up a lot. You know. I guess when you're young, you don't really care about a comfortable bed. You just want to
you're
lay
right.
down. But man, in your 30s, dog, that's if it hit different.
It do.
You comfort, like soft pillow beds or
Cause we all
something.
jacked up, bro.
And that ain't the word, man. But nonetheless, man, we got a really cool show, man. You're gonna see people walking by, I guess, trying to get some food or whatever. So, but whatever, man. Whatever. I'm just glad to be on the train, talking to my homie, man, on the show, man. Missed it last week because of false advertising. Said it was gonna be Wi-Fi on the train.
Ooh, it was
Uh,
rough.
there was no Wi-Fi on the train when I got here. So yeah. But nonetheless, man, you heard my sob story. How you doing?
Man, I'm riding the high, bro. I've been off for 4 days in a row, and it's coming to a unsatisfying end. But I wouldn't have it any other way to be here with you, man. I'm really thankful to be here. Thankful for all the people watching right now, all the people subscribed, man. We had a career high in the month of November, man. A high in views, over 200,000 views, man. Give a shout out to you guys. You guys are the ones watching the content. So thank you guys so much. And shout out to us, man, because we've been on the grind, really trying to make strides and really trying to reach as many of you guys as possible. We are less than 150,000 views away from hitting 1 million views in less than 2 years, man. Nice little round of applause, man. It's a really big accomplishment, but we couldn't be here without you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we got a really big episode today, man. A lot of cool stuff happened over the weekend, especially in college football. We reached the end of the regular season. So going into next week, we'll be getting in the conference championship week. And then obviously the NFL is winding down going into week 14 as well. If you do like this kind of content, do not forget to like our video, leave a comment. We love getting feedback from you guys. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. If you're more of a person on the go, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, as well as doing live streaming and stuff on Twitch. And if you're a big social media guru, check us out on Facebook, X, TikTok, and all that as well. Daily uploads, posts, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, man, we get it in. I think 1 million views in less than 2 years is pretty good. You know, I like to say we batting like Tony Gwynn right now. We on fire. We on fire. You
Swear,
can't
bro.
get us out right now. We hot right now because the shorts is crazy right now. We enjoying that because the viewership is crazy. We got like our first video over like 20,000 or something like that. I
I
think
think
that
the
was
one
the
you did
first
was
one.
over 30.
Yeah, so that was crazy. Wasn't expecting that. But give me a sec. He about to ask me where I'm going. I'm leaving. Dallas.
Oof. Better you than me. I hate Dallas.
Well, I'm literally only going there because I'm broke right now and I need a ride from my mom to take me home. So I'm broke right now. I need a ride, man. Them
I don't
Ubers
blame you.
from them Ubers are crazy, man. Going from where I was Fort Worth to where I live at. It's
Because
like
that's what, like an hour or so, yeah?
$30. From Dallas it would have been. From Fort Worth, it's only like 20 minutes, but it's like
Oh,
$30, bro. That's a lot. Like, I ain't finna do that. And my mom can take me. That's fine. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I gotta fill up my gas tank when I get home
I know that's
because
right.
I'm still gonna be outside. I'm still gonna be outside. But I'm still gonna be there. But let me see. We got some comments, man. What's up, Mr. Duff, man? We appreciate that, man. Trying to win. That's what we're doing. Exactly what we're doing, man. But got a good show today, man. We're gonna go back to the beginning of the show.
There
Uh-oh.
we go.
I done went full screen, and I didn't want to go full screen. Working out the kinks here. All right, all right. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we start off the show, man, with the college football rankings. We'll have another batch of rankings. Is this the last one before the official one, or
Yes, it
this
should
is
be
the
the
official?
last. This should be the last one because this is yeah, because the official one isn't that the last week of the regular season, or is that after conference championship week? I'm trying to
I think
remember. It should be after the Czech conference championships, if I'm wrong, right?
I'm trying to think, man. It would
Because I feel
be
like there's nothing else after that. Because that's after you get conference championship week is how you can kind of set up the playoff and the bowl games and stuff.
it'll be Sunday. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
Sunday after the conference championship. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So next week, this should be the last regular one then.
yeah. So, but this is gonna change. Obviously, we are speaking in a future tense. This is gonna change, man. So the surprising thing was how they value Alabama. That's the key to this whole thing, because Alabama has 3 losses. I think they're the best 3-loss team out of all of them. You want to argue resume, you want to argue where they lost, how they lost, things like that. Um, you can argue that, but they're still a dangerous team. Still a dangerous team, man. You don't know what type of Jalen Milroe you're gonna get, but nonetheless, still a dangerous team, man. So the fact that we had some losses, man, last week, Miami losing, and then we had who else lost?
You had, let's see, her name. You had
Clemson.
Ohio State drop, Clemson dropped.
Yeah, so there's some open spaces, man, for Alabama to slip in there. So I would think that you value Alabama, whether it be brand or their style of play. You showed that you value Alabama um, a lot. because with 3 losses, you would drop them completely out of the picture. But to have them at 13 lets me know that you want them in the playoff if chaos happens. So that's my biggest takeaway. What about you?
I think my biggest thing is one. A lot of the teams you had lose within the top 15. You have. Let me just count one team. You had about three teams in the top 15. 4 teams drop. There's obviously going to be some shakeup with that, but I think the biggest controversy is that number 13 through 15 spot. All 3 of these teams have played against each other. Obviously, Alabama has beaten. Did y'all play Ole Miss? Or no, y'all haven't played them this season. I don't think so. Okay, so y'all haven't played them. South Carolina and Ole Miss played. South Carolina got beat by Ole Miss. But the crazy thing is they're all sitting at 3 losses right now. South Carolina, I want to say, is on a 6-game winning streak. Ole Miss, I think, has won a couple in a row. They're all kind of sitting in a relatively similar spot. Like I said before, you have a couple teams ahead of them, like Clemson and Miami and Ohio State, who dropped games. So obviously they're going to move up in the rankings. The crazy thing is going to be how many SEC teams are you going to put in, and then what are you going to base the third or fourth team, if they get 4 teams in there, what are you going to base the resume on? Because Alabama beat South Carolina, not the most convincingly, but they have more impressive wins than both of these other teams. But South Carolina might be playing the best ball out of all 3 of them, and Ole Miss is still a really talented team nonetheless. I think that's the biggest storyline for me because, I mean, before the season, we already had said the SEC was going to get 4 teams in. But I don't think we assumed that the SEC was going to get teams with 3 losses in the playoff. I don't think that was anticipated at all. But since we're on the cusp of 2007 football, we are looking at a possibility of getting a couple of 3-loss SEC teams in there. If I had to put my gut in, I'm going to think that they're going to give Alabama the nod, one, because of the brand like you alluded to, but also the fact that they have the win advantage over South Carolina. And they've just been a bit more impressive to me than Ole Miss, although having been a little inconsistent, losing to Oklahoma recently. I still think that they're going to, if it comes down to those 3 teams, I'm going to say that they do. But I think South Carolina should get some consideration because I still think they're a really good team as well.
Yeah, and Chris has his usual good takes. He says, yeah, I can see
Head-to-heads
that.
do matter, but an overall body
Yeah.
of work should still be taken into consideration, especially
And,
with how the
and you
teams have
kind
been
of
playing.
see the way, and you kind of see the way Alabama, how they basically put the teams on there. You know, you see Alabama's first, Ole Miss is second, and then South Carolina's after that, right? So they value, I would say, head to head. It seems like because Bama beat South Carolina, and then I want to say
Ole Miss beat South Carolina.
Ole Miss beat South Carolina. So head to head matters. It seems like that's where they're going. So the question is, I see Texas. That's one. Georgia's another one. Tennessee's the next team, and then you got Bama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina in the rankings right now. So I think that we could literally see 5 teams in there. Right? I think you could go there because if you get to the point when you're looking at the ACC champion is going to get in regardless. So whether that be Clemson or SMU who play in the ACC champion, you know, you can see that one of those teams is going. So in this current ranking, that leaves another spot, right?
You're
Then
going to
you
get
can
an
put
automatic bid from the Big 12 too. And the Big
yeah,
Ten's going to probably, the Big Ten, if we're just going out on a hinge, I'm thinking the Big Ten's going to at least get 3 teams in. At least. Because Ohio
yeah.
State's still relatively in the conversation, and Penn State's in the Big Ten title game with Oregon, so they're in the conversation as well.
I think Miami's out. If we're really being honest, I think they're out.
If they lose the conference title game,
No, they're not in it.
you don't think they're in it at all now? No, I wouldn't
No,
think so because Georgia Tech was unranked. I could see if they would have lost to a ranked team, but them losing to Georgia Tech might put them out completely. Unless they win the title
yeah,
game, they might.
because
But
No, Miami's not in the title game, bro.
Oh no, they're not. Yes, Clemson. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, Miami. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
feel like there might be some crazy way that they could find their way in. Kind of like how we were discussing before LSU had taken the fourth loss. How like and this needed to happen. There's probably a formula for them to make it, but the dominoes that would need to fall would be insane.
I like
Ole
what
Miss,
Chris
no.
said here, man. They both beat UGA, so
Yeah,
that's a better
amen.
win than South Carolina. Um,
Yeah,
so
that
yeah,
is a
man.
good take. That is
Yeah,
because I
so
mean Georgia's a top 10 team, so I mean you have to take that into consideration.
yeah, so I like that a lot, man. So any other takeaways from the rankings so far?
Let's see. We've seen Colorado drop. A&M still kind of hanging in there, but I think they're out. BYU's out. Iowa State is out to me. Boise State is looking like they're gonna be that group of five. Let's see what he said. The SEC gets four, Big Ten four, ACC one gets one, Group of Five gets one. Yeah, there'll be one more spot, and Notre Dame's gonna get that spot.
Yeah, so
Notre Dame's a lock. Like they're getting in the playoff. Like that's done. They finished the season 11-1. Uh,
yeah, so
I'm
so
thinking.
as
Well,
I see it, I'm looking at, not to cut you off, but I'm looking at
no.
kind of how the bracket will look out, right? So I'm looking at Arizona State. That's your Big 12, so that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then your ACC champion will probably be Clemson, so that's two,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then your Group of Five is gonna be
Boise.
Boise State because they're the highest, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what, four.
Yeah.
Your SEC champion is probably gonna be. It
Let's
might be
let's say it's
Texas.
Georgia.
Okay, let's say it's Georgia, right? So they get in. So that's what, five, four,
Mm-hmm.
five. That's five teams, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Texas isn't gonna drop that far, losing the conference, so they're
So
in.
they're in.
So that's six. Ohio
Tennessee's
State's
in.
two. So Tennessee's in. So that's seven. And then you got Ohio State who's still in there. So that's eight.
Penn State, even if
Oregon,
they lose the title game.
right, to Oregon. So that's 9, 10, right? Notre Dame gets in right now. So that's 11. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got your highest at large bid, most likely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's going to be probably Bama. I think if you had to just stick somebody in there with the best resume of anybody, you can't put Miami in there because they didn't play in the championship game and they lost more recently than everybody else with their resume
And they
being
don't
like,
have any big wins either.
nope, their strength of schedule compared to Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina is like 55, and everybody else is above them. So I don't see any other team getting in there. Um,
I
so
think it comes down to them and Ole Miss.
yeah, I think so. And if I'm really being honest, I'm going with the money. I'm going with the money. Ole Miss don't really bring no dollars, man. If you put Bama in there and they gotta fight their way from the 12th seed all the way to say the national title game, that's a compelling story, you know. Even though they got the best players, like it'll show everybody that the cream rises to the top, you know. So we'll see. I'm excited about that, man. But that's my real takeaways, man. Let's see. Chris says that.
Who gets the fourth bye? You're giving that to the G5 team or the Big 12? It must be a conference champion. I
Uh,
feel
I'm,
like
I'm
I feel like
giving
they
it
give
to.
it. I feel like they give it to the G5. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen that in some other brackets and stuff. I feel like the group of five is probably getting that. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think the group of five is gonna get in there as well because when you think about a group of five, you want to try to give them the best chance to win. You know, you want to
So
try to get
one
them.
less. So not having to play in the first round is that way giving them a pass, pretty much.
Yeah, it's giving the the process of the playoffs a chance basically to show people that the 12-team playoff is different. It's fair. It's everything. So if you give it to the group of five, it gives them a better chance to succeed.
Yeah, it's not
Because
just a
if they
squash.
play in that first round, yeah, if they play in that first round to say Bama or something, they're probably gonna get beat more times than not, right? So you want to protect that group of five, man, and give them that bye so they can really do some damage, or at least try to. It's a more compelling storyline, in my opinion. So, but we'll see, man. But let's get into this college football, man. Right, go, man. Thank.
You got that dial up?
All right. Yeah, that's basically all it is. Shoot. Uh, but let's get into the Ohio State, Michigan, man. So Michigan pulls the upset. They fight at the end of the game because Michigan does the Baker Mayfield. Uh, but this was an ugly game. This is how you pull an upset when you're the underdog. You make it
Mm-hmm.
ugly, you keep it close, and you
Phone
try to
booth.
win. Yeah, phone booth style. Yeah, we're gonna beat you up, man. So I like it. I like I like that Michigan won this game. Back. All right. um, let's see. I I like the fact that that Michigan got this game. What you think?
I think I think it's a big eye opener, especially going into the playoffs.
Shit.
Ohio State is more than likely gonna find themselves in a playoff spot just because of their resume. I think this is the eye opener for those teams that get to face Ohio State in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if they're at home or where they're at. Like, they're beatable. The fact that Michigan was able to contain them to 10 points with all of the weapons and depth they have, this is going to be a blueprint that whoever's going to have to face them come playoff time, they can implement this and make it a really physical game that make Ohio State try to beat them. I think it's an impressive win for Michigan. I think it's going to really help them in recruiting in the offseason. And I think it's definitely going to be interesting for Ohio State how they answer back to this and can they adjust and get themselves all their ducks in a row come playoff time because this is not a good look for them.
No, I agree. I think it's one of the. I think they gotta do some soul searching, man. I really think they need a difference maker at quarterback, man. Every quarterback that they've had since Justin Fields left has really been like normal. Like nobody affects the game running the ball that well as Justin Fields did. JT Barrett, 12 gauge, Troy Smith back in the day, Terrell Pryor. Like, they need a guy like that. You know, they need a guy that can affect the running game. Dynamic players, Braxton Miller. Guys like that. You need somebody like that, man. Because they're not gonna go that far, man. So, what does Chris say? Chris says, yeah,
I mean, hey,
yeah.
but it all comes down to who wants it more. And this is a big rivalry. Michigan wanted this win, and they really needed it, man.
And this is a real one right here. Kyle
Yeah.
McCord, or I thought Kyle McCord played better than Will Howard this year. To be honest with you,
I just thought Will Howard was going to be able to do a bit more with the weapons he had. At moments, he's looked good. But when they've really needed him to be really good, he hasn't been. And that kind of sucks. I didn't think he was really a bad quarterback. And I felt like you surrounded him with a lot more talent, and the offensive line was a lot better than when he was at Kansas State. I was expecting to see a little bit more.
yeah, I agree. I agree, man. I'm thinking, all right, well now you got some horses, man. Let's go out and play, right? But you think about how Ohio State looks, man. They look bad. They look worse than they did last year, almost, especially offensively. Like 10 points to Michigan, a team that
What's
can't stop you.
What's crazy is the fact that Chip Kelly's the OC, and at moments his offenses look crazy, like how they dominated on Indiana last week. Like, stellar offense played really good, move up down the field, And then you move into this week against Michigan, and the same offense ran by Chip Kelly is night and day different.
Yeah, that's why I think Indiana doesn't. I don't think they get in, dog. I don't think you can put them in. I don't
They
think
don't
you
have enough
can.
quality wins. They're a
Yeah,
good
like
team.
even though they're 10, like you can't put them in the playoffs, man, because in their one chance to prove that they were a 12 best team, they looked bad, like
Mm-hmm.
really bad. Like I would have said put them in if it was in 7 points. Within 7 points, but this is a 20-point victory for Ohio State.
We said that before the game that if they wanted to lose, if they were going to lose that game, they had to keep it close because the committee was going to look at their overall body of work. And although their wins were very convincingly, they didn't have a very convincing win over a very high profile opponent. Now, had they kept it, like you said, within a possession or so game of Ohio State, I think that they look and be like, okay, they just didn't quite have enough. But the fact that offensively they brought nothing to the table in that game and got boat raced by Ohio State, I think that kind of just puts them out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think they're like I wouldn't be mad if you moved them out because they don't really deserve a home playoff game, in my opinion. If they were to get one, I don't think you. I just don't think they have enough to really beat anybody. Even Arizona State, if you put them in as you know, as a Big 12 champion, we'll
Mm-hmm.
get into that a little later, man. But South Carolina gets the win over Clemson, man. Really cool, really, really cool victory. I said this at the beginning of the season, or as we got closer to rivalry week. I said if South Carolina can own the trenches, they beat Clemson more times than not. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what they did. They had great performances from um, God, what's his name, man?
Lenore
I want to
Sellers,
say Sellers and the running back
Rocket
Sanders.
Sanders.
He was really Rocket Sanders. Yep, he's really good, man. And Clemson just didn't look. They don't look like they normally do, man. So I'm hoping SMU can win. But I think Clemson finally getting back to the ACC championship game. They're going to show their dominance, so they should be able to get in because there's going to be a three-loss team in there, regardless of what you say. You can say, "Oh, well, we put Bama in there or whatever," but if Clemson wins the ACC championship, they got 3 losses, and they're going to be in there too. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, it is what it is, man. But South Carolina definitely deserves to get a nod. I personally would want to put them in over us, to be honest with you. Uh, and that comes really as a surprise because I'm like the serious Bama fan, right? You see the shirt? Come on, man. So I'm a serious Bama fan, but I really would like to see um, Norris and Rocket do some damage against some team in the playoffs, man, because they got a good defense, and that combination of Sellers and Rocket gives me Pat White, Steve Slayton type vibes, specifically in the running game. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
can do some read option with those two, that's a dangerous thing. Dangerous. And then Rocket Sanders runs so hard that you don't really get a chance to get a good shot on him, man. He's quite shifty, man, and he's good, really strong. Um, so we'll see, man. But what you think?
I really like South Carolina. I think South Carolina's record does not reflect how good this team is. We've seen this team gradually get better and better, just like kind of like the exact same thing. But we've seen kind of the Oregon thing where South Carolina had a few hiccups early on, but you've seen glimpses here and there. It's like, okay, this team could be really good. And the defense has obviously always been stellar. But my big takeaway is the offense, man. The arm strength of Sellers is unmatched. He's got great arm talent. His accuracy is very underrated. But his running ability, you were talking about that 1-2 punch. It's kind of like thunder and lightning to me. The running back is more of the bruiser who's shifty, and he's just smooth and fast. That's a deadly combination that if you would be able to find a way to put them in the playoff, they could be a dark horse to make. I'm not saying making a national title, but they can make it pretty close. Like that offense is very lethal, and they can score fast, especially with that read option and be able to stretch the field out and throw the ball with the top down the field. Like, and this defense is suffocating from the line of scrimmage. That front seven knows how to get to the quarterback and really collapse the pocket. I would love to see them make it. I feel like they're going to get shafted. They're going to get snubbed. I really hope they don't. I would love for them to make it in, but we're just going to have to see.
Yeah, man. I would love to see that too, man. Because like I said, they give me that Pat White, Steve Slayton vibes, man. And they killed everybody, man. They were tough to beat. So I think that's tough. And Sellers is only a freshman. So when we talking Heisman next year for our preseason show, expect him to really be on the list because he can do some damage, man. He's only gonna get better. He's supposed to. Uh, but we'll see. But talk about the Iron Bowl, man. Another great classic, man. One of the best rivalries out there. Uh, we play better against Auburn when we're at home, uh, but when we're on the road, it's not very good. But let's um, we get the victory. Jalen Miro has another multi-rushing touchdown game. Uh, Almost looks like he's up to 30, almost 30 rushing touchdowns this year. Like he's really been running the ball, man, really well, man. But for us to succeed, he has to go past, man. He has to do it. You know, like you have to you gotta beat your rivals. And shout out to Malachi Moore, the captain on the team. He's 5-0 against Auburn in his history there. So it's gotta feel good to beat your rivals, right? So, and he's an Alabama dude too. So he's from like, God dang, he went to, I want to say Hewitt Trustville. It's one of the best high schools in Alabama. So I think he went there. So he got to stay home and beat the rival too. Pretty good career if you ask me. So, um, but we look dominant, specifically on the ground. And I think when you're in a one game scenario, that's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good. If you're in the playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball and play defense, man. And Peyton Thorne didn't play very bad. It's just like Hugh Freeze doesn't have the offense that he wants, in my opinion. You know, he doesn't have the offense that I think he wants. The quarterback's not as mobile as he wants. If you look at all of Hugh Freeze's success, everywhere he's been, he's had a good quarterback that can run the ball. So uh, we'll see. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, nope, Auburn's not going to a bowl game. So, um, but that's all right. That's all right. Let's see. Says get your hands beat. Man, yeah. But I mean, all those players leaving is probably a good thing for Auburn because they didn't want to be there anyway.
They weren't
Hugh
going to
Freeze can,
buy into what he wanted.
yeah, those guys have still had trauma because of the Brian Harsin era, so they needed to leave anyway. And I think next season Auburn should be a little bit better. Hopefully not too much because I don't want to see them that good. But I think once they get a lot of them players up out of there, that's all right, man.
Yeah, but I mean, but if Michigan was ranked, I'd say yes. Now, obviously, Michigan beating Ohio State's a big deal, but the fact that Michigan isn't ranked, I don't know if that's going to really play as big of a factor into them getting in because it's not a ranked victory. They're not like a top 10 team.
So Chris says that's true. That's true.
Yeah, some
That's true.
5-win teams do sometimes get in, but it's just not as likely.
Yeah, on like a academic thing. So I've heard that a couple times because Charlie Weiss, not Charlie Weiss, but Charlie, dude, he was the coach of Texas.
Charlie Strong.
Charlie Strong, yeah, he had Texas 5-7, and they went into a bowl game and won, and they were 6-7. So they had a winning season if you really think about it. Uh, Shout out Charlie Strong. I like those Texas teams, man. They were good. They didn't have the recruiting. And this lady almost falls because she's walking with water on the train. Splat.
Oops.
So, but all right, let's move on to the next game, man. We got Miami taking the loss to the Syracuse Orange. Who one with the Wi-Fi, bro? What are we doing? All right, cool. What are we doing here, man? So, but like I said, kicked out again. What are we doing here? All right, it went away. It went away. So I'm trying to talk about the game, but it's like I'm trying to look at the screen and it like buffers and everything. All right. So what you think about Syracuse getting this win, man? I was very
Man, that's a really
impressed
good
with Kyle
quality win.
McCord. He's been playing good all season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a quality win for Syracuse, but I think it really exposes Miami for what a lot of people knew them to be. Really good quarterback play, but not quite as good as the record says. Being bailed out more times than not. I know we both picked Miami to win the ACC in the preseason. I think we expected a bit more from them and to be winning in more convincing fashion, especially these games lately. But they just couldn't finish out this game. They let Syracuse hang there with them to the end of the game, man. I think Miami kicked a late field goal and gave Syracuse time with the ball, and Syracuse just did what they needed to do, took the lead, and they closed things out, man. More than likely, Miami is going to be out of here. I don't really see a scenario where they can find their way into the playoff. I think they need a lot of dominoes to fall their way. Not saying it's impossible. I just think more likely than not, the fact that they're not in the title game and them taking a loss at this point in the season, it's going to really hurt them trying to climb back into that spot. Good quality win for Syracuse. Kyle McCord gets another good quality win under his belt, but Miami is more than likely out. And not really good look for Mario Cristobal for so much hype coming into the season.
I agree, man. But shout out Fran Brown, head coach of the Syracuse Orange. First year there, 9 wins, man. And probably gonna get his first top round pick because I think Kyle McCord is going in like the first 3 rounds. He's really shown that he's really good. Like he can play at the next level. So if Dungy, the guy who played for Syracuse a couple years ago that beat Clemson a couple times, if he can play in the NFL and get picked up, so can Kyle McCord. So Shane Wynn. All right. Uh-oh. Going through a dead zone right now, so it's gonna look a little crazy. But what you think about Georgia getting a victory here and a thriller against Georgia Tech?
It's not a good look for them. I knew Georgia Tech was going to give them fits. Georgia obviously has the experience and athletes to be able to pull a lucky win out at the end. This is not convincing. And I understand sometimes when you have a team that's on the cusp of a national championship, you're going to have close wins. You're going to have scary ones that are going to go down to the wire. This is a little alarming to me because it's like Georgia is so up and down. You have moments in the preseason where, like, man, Georgia's back. Georgia's going to be good. Georgia takes a loss. Oh, man, Georgia's not so good. Then they come back and get a really convincing win. Man, Georgia's really good. They lose again. And they narrowly make it out of this one. It's just a lot of up and down that I don't know what this team is really going to look like come playoff time when you have another team who's really hungry and wants to knock them off that pedestal. Kudos to them for getting the win. Georgia Tech's a well-coached team. We've seen it numerous times during this season, them come with a really good game plan and them either getting upsets or coming really close to getting them. This is alarming for Georgia, especially if they have their eyes set on a possible national championship berth. I think they are in trouble.
I agree, man. This is a thrilling victory, man. I really thought Georgia Tech was going to do it, but it shows that they're a lot closer than you think. They're a lot closer to making some strides in the ACC than people think. So I'm excited about that, man. But Georgia keeps winning, man. Ugly, but they win, and they're going to the SEC championship game, and they're gonna play Texas again. So we'll see. Texas kind of, I think, wants to beat them because they got their welcome to the SEC moment against Georgia. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so not really like a close game that we were gonna talk about in terms of like, oh man, this game is cool to talk about. But it's a couple of things I want to get into in this game, right? So first things first, Oklahoma State, this is their worst season in a very long time.
This is their worst season since his first year in 2005. They finished 4-7 that year. This year they're 3-8.
Yep, so you get the vibes, man. It's been a long time, so I'm not about to sit here and talk about firing Mike Gundy because he done did too much for that program for too damn long. So I'm not gonna sit here and do that. But I will say that this was I thought this was gonna be his chance to make the playoffs this year, man, because they had some players returning, man. But I don't think they got the consistency from the quarterback that they needed. And that's what happened, man. Shador Sanders tore them apart, man. Tore them to shreds, man. But I will say this: I think that Travis Hunter locked up the Heisman with this performance, man. A whole lot of yards. I think an interception too. So yeah, he's racked up the Heisman if you ask me. Because he's made some plays on both sides of the ball. Like, I thought that it would be hard for him to win because he was not the best receiver or the best cornerback, right? There are better cornerbacks than him, and there are better receivers than him. But you gotta look at the numbers. He's got 1,000 yards receiving and like 5 interceptions. So he's like top 5 in both sides of the ball. I love Ashton Genty, man, but you can't ignore the fact that this guy's doing it at a high level on both sides of the football, man. You know, he catches, he can run, he tackles, man. He almost threw a touchdown pass. They were about to throw a trick play. And he just got sniffed out by a good defender. But man, that's what I really want to talk about. He really locked up the Heisman, man, with this game. The only thing that would stop him from winning is if Shador gets on the ballot too, and they feel like Shador is the reason behind his success. But he did enough, kind of like Devontae Smith when he won the Heisman. Like, yo, you just threw to your best receiver the whole time. And he was taking the ball to the crib every time. So We'll see, man. But usually don't talk about FCS stuff on here. But I got to shout out to Eddie George, the great Tennessee Titan running back, man. He is the head coach of the Tennessee State Tigers, and they made the FCS playoffs in his first year. Took the loss to Montana, but that's a really good team, and they had to play in another time zone too. So um, it was gonna be an uphill battle anyway. But shout out to Eddie George, man, getting his team to the getting his team to the tournament, man. So um, definitely excited about that for him. Let's see. All right. So speaking, oh, let's go back. I thought I pressed it twice. All right. So speaking of FCS games, man. The SWAC championship, man. We got Southern going against Jackson State. But I really want to talk about Jackson State because everybody says Dion's not a builder of a program, man. Jackson State seems to not miss the beat. Not missing a beat. I think they won like 10 games or something like that this season. So, like, whoever's coaching them, they got them going in the same path that Dion left it. So, shout out to them. So, nothing to really talk about here, for real, but the fact that people say Dion can't build a program, man. But that program is in better shape than when he left it, man. So, let's see. Let's get into. All right, so let's get to the ACC championship game, man. We got Clemson going against SMU. Um, what you thinking?
Man, I love how these newcomers and all these conferences are making noise. A lot of these teams that are in conference championships this week were not in the conference previously to the season. I'm not impressed with Clemson at all. I'm not impressed with them at all. It's been really topsy-turvy, and they're just not looking good. I really like what SMU's doing. Give me SMU, man. I've got SMU winning the ACC in year one.
Okay, no. So I was trying to see, is that Rhett Lashley's team?
Hmm?
I said, is that Rhett Lashley's team?
Who are you talking about? SMU?
The head, yeah, the head coach. Is he coaching
Let's see.
there?
It is. Yep.
Okay, so this doesn't really surprise me because Rhett Lashley is one of the best coaches, well, most up and coming coaches in the game right now. He's going to be coaching at a big time Power Five real soon. So it's only going to boost his resume. One, if they can beat Clemson and get an ACC championship game, expect him to get a call from somebody at a big time program real soon. Because he's been doing his thing. No, that's cool. Hold up. Give me a second. No, it's alright. Try it. My bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 No, it's all good. It's all good. Man, I almost broke my laptop, bro. All the way back, bro. All the way back, bro. Crazy work. Crazy work. Nonetheless, man. It'd be big for Rhett Lashley, man, to win this. So I'm going to SMU too, man. Right, so we got the Big Ten championship, man. Let's talk about it, man. Big game. What we got?
So, I mean, this is a really cool matchup, to be honest with you. We've seen Penn State. We've seen Penn State come close to beating Ohio State earlier in the season, and we've seen Oregon obviously been climbing the mountains of success here from week 1 to now. They've improved drastically. I think Penn State could really give Oregon a running for their money. I think Penn State's still a really good football team. But I'm sorry, I'm going to say what I've been saying since I picked them to win the Big Ten, man. Oregon is in a really good spot. I think they're playing really good football. And the depth that Dan Lanning has built on this team is incredible. This team just does not want to be denied. I think they're on a mission. I've got Oregon winning this game, like for sure. I think Oregon's a really good football team, and they want a chance at a national title, and I've got Oregon winning this game. Are we frozen, sir? Are you frozen, sir? Are you frozen, sir? Are we frozen, sir? And now we have the NFL recap and preview on the screen, but we still have a few conference championship games to discuss. Looks like we are in the process of getting him back. I think it'll be a really good game, though. Oregon and then Penn State is a really cool matchup. I think they have a legit shot, but we good?
Yeah.
All right.
We're good. We definitely good. We back, man. We went through a little dead zone right there, man. But yeah, I think Oregon has the best shot to win this game, because they got more offense. But I do think if Penn State
Might have hit another dead zone.
All right.
Oh, we talking about the other?
Right back after this commercial break.
Are we going over the other conference championship games?
I don't even know who's really playing for real.
The SEC, the Big 12.
I think Arizona. Okay, yeah, Arizona
State and Iowa State.
Okay, yeah, we can touch on that real quick. I got Arizona State, man. They got a really good running back that I've been following for a little bit. He's been killing it. They just hand the ball out to him, and he does his thing, man. So, I like him a lot. Then, as far as the SEC, I really think I think Texas should win this game because they already lost, and they know they need to put up some points. So I got Texas in that one.
Yeah, I would agree. Iowa State's been too up and down. I don't think they're a bad team, but I just don't think they're in any position to outplay and outscore Arizona State. I've got them. My gut wants to say Georgia gets it together and they beat Texas, but I think Texas knows the urgency of this game and know they need to come out swinging and need to put Georgia out early. I've got Texas winning that game as well.
Okay. All right. I didn't really hear what you said because it kind of went through that dead zone again.
Yeah, but, so I was just going to agree with you on Arizona State. I think Iowa State's been too up and down, and I think Arizona State's just playing really good ball, and I just don't see Iowa State having an answer for what Arizona State can do. In regards to the SEC, my gut wants to say Georgia because Georgia's been here before. They obviously have the experience, but I haven't seen enough for them to think that they could beat Texas 2 times. And I think Texas knows the urgency behind this game and knowing they really need to win this game.
I agree. All right, so That's our college football for now. I mean, we got some other conference championships going, but um, it really centers around Navy, Army. That's really what I want to see for real. Since I don't really have no team in the game right now, but I know that's gonna be a spectacle. So it's always go Army, beat Navy. So, but we'll be right back after this commercial break, man. So we watching the football frame of mind on the Villain Sports Media Network, man. Commercial time.
Hey man, I don't care. I'm on this Darnold train. I'm riding with Darnold.
You ride with the
Oh,
Vikings?
I'm riding with the Vikings, man.
Oh man.
I'm
Woo!
riding
Oh,
with the Vikings,
man, you was
man.
talking. Hey, you was talking about taking a bath in the Kool-Aid earlier with the Falcons. Nah, you done definitely got submerged in this Darnold
No,
train.
The Darnold train continues. The Darnold train continues, man. It continues. But we gotta talk about Matt
Eberflus, I think.
Elberflus. So he's been relieved of his duties as the head coach of the Bears after their Thanksgiving Day debacle. Um, Got to do better in the 2 minute drill. Um, they just didn't look prepared, and the Bears, who were supposed to be kind of the surprise team, getting a quarterback that they quote unquote wanted, they were supposed to take some next strides, and there's some infighting going on within the team, and they let him go, man. He really lost the team after that one, man. But what you think? Uh, should they have gave him more time, or what do you think?
I think this is a problem not necessarily just from a player or coaching perspective. This is an organizational problem, even from up in the management. Like we've seen ever since they let go of Lovey Smith, which I feel like was not warranted. This team has been a revolving team of mediocrity and just not being able to put the right product out on the field. I don't think it's just a head coaching thing. I think obviously they needed a better head coach. They still have some holes on their roster, but I think their problems are more from management and from the organizational perspective. Like there needs to be some stability. You need to get some people in here that want to win and know how to win and know how to get the right people in the right places to get the best roster on the field to give yourself the best chance to win. The Bears have a rich history of winning, but the Bears also have a rich history of losing and just letting a lot of really talented teams slip through the cracks and not being able to get it done. Like I said before, I love Lovey Smith. I don't think they should have fired him when they did. And ever since then, man, like I said, it's been a revolving door of mediocrity. I hope they get it together, man, from a management organizational perspective. I hope they get the right coaches and the right assistants in there to really utilize Caleb Williams because he is a generational talent. The guy's got crazy arm strength. He can ball, man. If they can put the right weapons around him and a stable coaching staff, this team could be a really good team. But for now, I don't think it's just solely on the head coach. I think the Bears really need a lot of work from top to bottom.
I agree. I agree. I think the offensive line needs some work. That's one thing. You gotta protect your money. You know what I'm saying? Protect your money. You gotta protect Caleb Williams, man. But nonetheless, man, this is why he got fired, man. They played really hard against the Lions, but the Lions prevailed, man. The Lions are 11-1 this season, and looking like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, man. Jared Goff is looking like an MVP candidate. He might win it because he's on the best. He's on the best team right now, playing the best football. So, what you think about this game?
I think Detroit just knows how to win games, man. Chicago really gave them a running for their money. Caleb Williams had a really good game for the most part. Maybe not completion percentage wise, but able to put the ball in the end zone. They couldn't really get the run game going, but they played really hard against a good Detroit team. And just because of lack of coaching and being able to handle the 2-minute drill properly, this team drops it, man. But a good in-division win for the Lions. The Lions are proving that they are a force to be reckoned with, like you said. And I think that a lot of teams should be scared of them going into the playoffs. I think they're a very dangerous team, and I think there's a reason why, like myself and others, picked Detroit to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Nah, I agree. I think the Lions are a Super Bowl contender. We picked them anyway. They made the playoffs, deep run last year, so we already knew that. But let's talk about the Chiefs, man. Defending champs, man. They're 11-1, but haven't been looking like an 11-1 team, if you know what I mean. But the Raiders, again, the Raiders have a good team. They just need a quarterback, man. That's it. That's all I need. And McConnell didn't play bad. It's just he doesn't play this good consistently. You can't win with him at quarterback. You definitely can't win with Minshew at quarterback. You need a winner, somebody established that's going to take you over the next 10 years, man. The coaches might change, but the players that you building your team around should. And they need a quarterback, and they need a quarterback bad. And that's just why I think they're tanking a little bit. Uh, don't let Antonio Pierce tell you that, but I definitely believe that this team is good. So
Yeah, I think they're
yeah,
a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away from really making some noise, man. A lot of the mocks, especially the ones that me and you have been like sharing and looking at, have them possibly getting either Cam Waters or Shedeur Sanders. And both of those guys are pretty pro ready for the most part. I think they would be an immediate plug and play. And Vegas has a lot of good options, especially a young stud in Brock Bowers and a really underrated defense as well. So I would like to see them get the quarterback of the future because they haven't had a really good quarterback in God knows how long. And one of those two guys could be a real difference maker and them making some noise in the AFC West.
I agree. I be all right. I think, like I said, they're a quarterback away, and uh, and once they get that, they'll be good. Then you can really judge Antonio Pierce's tenure once he gets a quarterback, man. So, but let's talk about the Steelers, man. Well, first thing, let's talk about your Bengals, man. Continue to be one of the most explosive offenses in the league, but can't stop anybody. Another high scoring loss for them this season as they fall to 4-8. What you think?
This is a prime example of if you guys are old enough to watch, say, the NFL 10 or so years ago, Cam can vouch for this. This is an exact example of what Drew Brees was going through in New Orleans when New Orleans had historically bad defenses, where you had quite possibly the most explosive offense in the league, being able to drop over 35 points a game on damn near everybody, but your defense is giving up 40 plus. Trey Hendrickson's one of the only redeeming qualities of this defense, and it's in question whether they're going to re-sign him or if they're going to choose to re-sign T. Higgins in free agency this year. Cincinnati's defense has underperformed drastically this year. Joe Burrow is having a career year, possible MVP caliber year, but it's not going to get anywhere because his defense is letting these games slip away. I don't think the Bengals are a bad team. And Joe Burrow is playing as good as he needs to be playing to win games and make the playoffs. But the lack of defense is not helping them. And give credit where it's due to Pittsburgh, man. This is another winning season for Mike Tomlin. Has yet to have a losing season on his resume since he took over following Bill Cowher, man. Really the prestige of consistency from the Steelers. And it's good to see them kind of look better and looking to try to get them a playoff spot here coming January, February, man. I think Pittsburgh's a good team. It just sucks that this is the best division in football, and one of these teams like Cincinnati is just underperforming from defense.
I agree, man. Shout out to Mike Tomlin, man. Consistency is how you keep your job more times than not. So he's doing his thing. Steelers only had 3 coaches in the last feels like 80, 60 years, something like that. So he's one of them. So consistency, and they know what they're doing, man. His team's on 30th or 33rd head coach in their history, and that's sad. All right. We talk about the Darnold train. It continues, man. Sam Darnold looking like an underlying MVP candidate as well, man. He's been balling out this season, man. He's been solid, and the Minnesota Vikings keep winning. Watch this game personally today. Uh, the Carolina, not Carolina. Goddamn, I'm thinking about Carolina because Bryce Young is back, baby. But nonetheless, we're looking at Arizona. They had a nice lead in this game, like 19-6 or something like that at one time, and it looked like, oh man, Arizona's gonna win it. But Sam Darnold does his thing, man, and will the victory, man. What you think? Is Darnold?
I mean, we said in the preseason that the NFC North was the best division in the NFC and one of the best divisions in football. I don't think we anticipated Minnesota's defense to be as formidable as they have, but their defense has been very impressive. And Sam Darnold has showed great poise in being able to keep his team in games and be able to win these games, man. Arizona's not a terrible team. They've obviously overperformed, and they're still in contention for a possible playoff spot in their division as well. But, man, the Vikings keep their hope alive, man. They're only a game out of first place in the NFC North. Obviously, Detroit's sitting with 1 loss. Minnesota's got 10, and Green Bay is still in the mix for a playoff spot as well. So Minnesota is looking really good, defensively very impressive, and offensively, man, they're doing enough to get the job done. So definitely could be a dangerous team come playoff time.
Yeah, that rematch turns is gonna be really cool when they play them again. That's gonna be really fun to watch. I think they played. Not sure. Hold up. This, is that who the Vikings lost to?
What happened?
Well, I know they lost to the Rams, but I know they did. Did the Vikings lose to the Detroit when they played them?
I'm about to see. If I went out on a hunch, I'd say yes. I just want to be able to confirm for sure. But I'm thinking that that is the case. I'm having issues with my internet, but it's looking like that's probably what happened.
Hey, that's all right. Me too.
Did we lose you? Did we lose you? I think we lost him. Oh, no, he's still here. We still here? Did we lose you?
All right, we back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still. No, I'm here. It's just this sucks. We going through the hick towns. And they don't have internet connection.
Let's
All right, but nonetheless, man, we keep going. We'll keep going as long as we can, man. Try to get to the end so we can have a
they
good
had
ending to
lost
the
to
journey.
they had lost to Detroit. They had lost back to backs to Detroit and LA Rams.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties, folks. Please be patient. Just some issues with the internet and traveling and things like that. Please be patient. We're trying to get through this NFL season, not this NFL season, NFL section. And we got a few more games to discuss, and then we're going to go through a few of other games for next week, and we're going to pick a few of those games, and then we'll be done with the show. We're talking about the Houston Texans, man. Houston gets a narrow victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Only a 3-point victory. Trevor Lawrence ended up taking a really bad hit. He's hurt, and it's looking like it's going to be something serious. Sucks for Jacksonville. Jacksonville's sitting at 2-10 on the season. Unfortunately, they're looking like they're going to be in position for another lottery pick. I'm assuming Jacksonville's going to be either looking for another player. I mean, you could be going best available there. You could be looking at Travis Hunter, depending on where you're at. They look like they may have the number one pick, more than likely. You could go Travis Hunter there. They really need offensive line help. I don't know if this draft is really the deepest for offensive line. They have some really good guys at tackle, guard, and center, and so on. I've seen a lot of mocks with Jacksonville with the first pick, and they have almost always had Travis Hunter. The guy's a generational type talent. I can see them doing that. If they do that, they really need to emphasize on protecting Trevor Lawrence and making sure that investment that they put into him is well versed and used for, man. It's looking like Doug Peterson's probably going to be out of there, unfortunately. It sucks, man. Doug Peterson's a Super Bowl winning coach. Got fired from Philadelphia, comes into Jacksonville, and has a really impressive year one with Trevor Lawrence. And not so impressive last year. They make Trevor Lawrence the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And this season has just been really bad. 2 wins is not acceptable. And I can't imagine that Jacksonville is going to want to ride on that train for very much longer. Duval County is not going to be very happy about that, or the Cons, man. Jacksonville's a really good place to play. I just don't know. If you let go of Doug Peterson, where are you going to go from there? I got to imagine they're going to follow the trend and go with like a younger head coach, somebody that can really help build them for the future. Obviously, you have your cornerstone quarterback. You have some really good running backs. You have good, talented players on defense like Josh Allen. You took Trayvon Walker a couple of years ago. So, I mean, the team definitely needs some work, but they're not the absolute in the worst spot. But, I mean, we look at it like this. Houston gets another win. They improve on the season to 8-5. And, I mean, hey, you can't go wrong with what Houston's doing. Nico Collins gets over 100 yards on 8 catches. C.J. Stroud, pretty efficient game, 22 of 34 for 242 and a touchdown. And they get the win, man. They have looked up and down shaky. I don't know if I'm as confident about them going into the playoffs. I thought they were a legitimate contender to make the AFC title game. Might not be the case this year. I'm not sure. Let's see if our friend, let's see if he's got everything taken care of, if he's going to be back on, because we really need him back. I think Houston's still a good team. I just don't know if they're ready, though. I don't know if they're ready to make that step to compete. I don't think they're ready for Kansas City, in my opinion. I don't think that they're ready at all. Oh, man, where is he at? And we're going to message him right now and make sure he's good. Probably just going through a dead zone, riding back home. Might have lost connection. Nonetheless, though, Houston gets the win, improving to 8-5 on the season. Looking like they're going to win that division. Actually, let's see. Oh, wait. And I want to see. Okay, he's getting everything set up. Yeah, it's looking like Houston is sitting at 8-5. You have Indianapolis at 3-7, and then you have Titans at 3 wins and Jacksonville at 2. So it's looking more than likely Houston's going to win this division, automatic playoff spot. I'm just not very convinced of what they're doing. to really make a deep run. I think Stroud is still having a pretty good year. Houston's a good team, but when you start going against teams like we're saying, like the Kansas City Chiefs, we're looking at the AFC North, Pittsburgh, we're looking at teams like Baltimore, even Buffalo with how good they played this year. I don't know if Houston is in the place they need to be able to beat those teams, man. I think they're getting there. I just don't know if they're necessarily there yet. And we're still working on getting Cam in here, having some bad internet connection where he's at. I'm hoping we can get him back on ASAP, man. But what do you guys think? Drop a comment below. Like, where do you think Jacksonville should go if they get the number 1 pick? Like, do you think they should go with just best available, take Travis Hunter because he's such a generational talent? And if you take him, like, do you play him on both sides of the ball? Is that feasible? Or do you guys say, no, I don't want to get a player like that with my first pick. I want to go to protect my quarterback, get somebody like a Will Campbell or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they trade back and they get a bunch of assets and they still can take guys that they want. You can go any number of ways, but Jacksonville is obviously not in a good spot. And Trevor Lawrence going down is really bad. But if we're looking at this game, let's see. Yeah. Travis. I would say Travis too, man. I think that he is really good. I would just hope that Jacksonville can be smart with their picks. I would hope that they can really build to protect Trevor Lawrence because you have that much money invested into him. You really need to give him protection. He can scramble around, but you need to give him time to get rid of the ball. You don't need him getting hit on. You need to be able to put him in the best position to win. This game, though, is a really cool game. We have Atlanta facing Minnesota. Minnesota's obviously only sitting at 2 losses. Atlanta's 6-6, man. A team that at times has looked very impressive offensively with Magic City Kirk. Like Cam likes to say, they're going to be in Minnesota. So Magic City Kirk will not be able to show up to Minnesota. It's only a home field advantage if you can say so. That's what Cam has said. You can't travel with Magic City. You can only do it in Magic City. I think Atlanta is a really talented team that could beat Minnesota. But the way Minnesota's defense has been playing, like, let's just see, like, what are some of the points per game they've been giving up? Like, they only gave up 21 points last game? Yeah, apparently his internet is bad. Apparently my internet is bad as well. But Minnesota's still a really good team. I've got Minnesota winning that game, man. I think Atlanta's good, but they don't have enough. Kansas City and the Chiefs, that's kind of an interesting matchup because finally the Chargers actually look like they're not the worst team in football. They're sitting at 8-4 on the season. Let's see what the AFC West standings are. The Chargers are in second place, only a game above Denver at 7-5. But if I had to go out on a limb, man, we picked against the Chiefs all year last year, and it continued to kick us in the butt all year. Look, I mean, I would love to see Herbert and the Chargers upset Kansas City. It's in Arrowhead, man. I've got to go with the Chiefs, man. They're sitting at 11-1. They're probably going to finish out the season maybe losing another game. I don't necessarily think they're going to lose this one. I've got Kansas City winning this one. We have the Seahawks and the Cardinals, man. Another interdivisional matchup. Oh, man. Okay. It's looking like I'm just going to keep having issues on my end as well. I'm trying to pull up these standings. If I'm going to go out on a limb, I think Arizona's only a game back. Seattle's at 7-5. Arizona's 6-6. Arizona's really outperformed expectations. I think Seattle's just got a little bit too much. I like what Geno is doing. DK's having a good year. I've got Seattle winning this one, getting their season up to an 8-5 record and dropping Arizona to 6-7. I wonder what the next game is going to be. Shall we see, sir? Shall we see? What is the next game, sir? No. Final thoughts. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen following conference championship week. I think that's really going to show. I think after conference championship, we're obviously going to get the final college football playoff rankings, and we're going to really see how things go. I really agree with Cam in the sense that I want to see South Carolina make the playoff. Not just because our buddy's Andrew and he's a big South Carolina fan, but that's a dangerous team. You could put a team like that in the playoffs against some of these teams that have been more shaky, but they're going to get in. I think South Carolina could give them a running for their money, and I think they can make it deep. Not national championship deep, but I think they can play some really good ball, and I think they can put the nation on notice that, hey, we're here, and we can make some noise, and we're coming. Because I think Lenora Sellers is going to be that guy. His running ability is unquestioned. His arm talent is unquestioned. Really solid defense. I think Shane Beamer has got a really good team out there in South Carolina. But nonetheless, man, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry that we ended up having some difficulties on Cam's end. But, hey, things happen. Life happens, man. If you did enjoy first of all, thanks for anybody watching this video. Thanks for the feedback and the comments. You guys are awesome. You guys are the reason we're here. We're on the road to 1 million views. We're over over 800,000. We got like 150K left. We started in June of last year. So, man, we love the views, man. Check out our shorts. They're really popping right now. That's going to be really what gets us over the top. But, man, thank you for anybody watching. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave these comments, man. We love interacting with you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are the reason we're here. And don't forget to hit that bell notification on YouTube so you never miss a beat. You get daily uploads, community posts, weekly shows, as well as check the top right-hand corner for the Villain Sports Media Network. It's a new network that we co-founded recently. We have shows, I think, 4 or 5 days a week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with football, baseball, all those kind of things. I think the Chargers could have a chance to pull it off, but definitely check out the Villain Sports Media Network, man. You will not be disappointed. We have a wrestling show tomorrow. If you guys are into professional wrestling, definitely check that out. As well as if you like the Football Frame of Mind and you like more audio, check us out on all major audio platforms, as in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, things like that. Definitely check out us on all major social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, X. And like I said, check out the Villain Sports Media Network. A lot of really good content creators over there. You see Mr. Andrew Anderson, one of the other co-founders. Really good guy, really good content, man. You will not be disappointed, man. But that's Cam. I'm Brandon with the Football Frame of Mind podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys soon, and have a great day.